everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're talking about the Goodreads Choice Awards. So we're going to do this in the style of my book talk videos where I just sort of ramble a little bit around my thoughts because I feel like a lot of you guys actually, because I've been seeing some posts on threads and things like that, am super annoyed and disappointed in the Goodreads Choice Awards. Now I want to preface this by saying that obviously the Goodreads Choice Awards is run by Goodreads. Goodreads is owned by Amazon. I don't think we thought it was going to be perfect, and it's been really bad lately, really bad, and I think this year just sort of pushed me personally over the edge. I did take some notes because I need to give you guys the way I was feeling about this at first. So in general, I've been more and more disappointed with the Goodreads Choice Awards because they took away picture books in 2020 as a category. That is something that when I first started my channel at the very end of 2017, so I think 2018, 2019, I was really into reading those. And in 2019 especially, I had my first kid and I was like, let's look at all these cool picture books that people were reading. And I remember, I think the last year that they did it was 2019. One of the picture books was actually a kid's poetry book that should have been in the middle grades or children's category. So again, just because it had pictures does not mean it's a picture book. It was already a little bit but I still liked that category. They took it away in 2020 and I was a little bit sad about that because I know a lot of people that use Goodreads might not use the picture book thing as much. Obviously most of the people using this are adults, but I did use that. Then in 2023, they took away even more categories. They took away middle grades and children's, all of that. First of all, they should never have had middle grades and children's as its own category. I really think we should have separated those because middle grade is more popular than children's, but they were combining them as one category when most of the time it was just middle grade books anyway. But they completely got rid of the category in 2023. And I know for a fact a lot of adults still read middle grade. We talk about it on BookTube sometimes, but that's just why? Not only that, they also took away comics and graphic novels in 2023. 2023 was a sucky year, I want to say. We found the Goodreads Choice Awards and it was what? They also took away poetry. I'm not the biggest poetry reader, but I do feel that was sad for a lot of people. They did add Romantasy in 2023, so I guess that was the trade-off. I know Romantasy is a bigger category now, and with the way Romantasy is supposed to be done, it is supposed to be more of a full mix between romance and fantasy, which makes it harder to pick which category it's going to be in. It also seems to have a random definition for a lot of different people, so okay, I guess, but why did you have to take everything away? Just add things. They did also add audiobooks in 2024, which I think is interesting. But at the same time, I don't know how they're judging those. Is it just the most popular audiobook? Is it for the best audiobook? Are we looking at the narrators? I don't know. And I don't think I read enough audiobooks to really know, but okay, sure. One other thing, they did also take away the write-in votes. I think the last year we were allowed to do write-in votes was in 2020, so in 2021 those were gone. Nowadays when you do Goodreads Choice Awards, you just have your preliminary voting and then the final round. That's it. There's 2 rounds. So this year, opening round is from November 11th to November 23rd. Final round is November 25th to November 30th. I don't remember how many books it'll go down to in the final round. And then the winners announced will be on December 4th. In the past, in 2020 and before, you actually would have an opening round and you could do write-in votes. That is how a lot of indie authors and indie books got discovered because people would write in those things. If you look at what we have nowadays, especially since after that 2020, we have hardly any indies in here. We also have a lot less people of color and stuff like that in here as well. Keep in mind, a lot of the things that are here are very white. But you would get to write those in. Then it would actually open it up to, I think the top 15, it would start at 10 maybe, open it up to the top 15. So 5 of those votes that you could have in the semifinal round or whatever were from the write-ins. Then you would go to a final round. So instead of 2 rounds, we'd have 3 rounds. I don't think it really took away from that. I mean, I feel like they also could have just had 2 rounds but still allowed the write-in. Like, I was, again, very sad when they took the write-in category away, because yes, if you're reading a lot of indie books, the stuff that you read is not going to really be here in the actual, like, awards. So that, again, very annoying. But one thing that I've noticed this year is we are having a lot of, like, questionable choices, a lot of repeats. And again, this is something that I've seen a lot of people talk about lately. So this year in 2025, one thing that people have noticed is there are 3 Frida McFadden books in one category, mystery and thriller. One author is taking up 3 spots in mystery and thriller, and there are only 20 books listed here. You're telling me you couldn't find 20 mystery and thriller authors that came out in 2025? 3 of them are one singular author, which I guess maybe there's going to be people that read all 3 of those and may have a different perspective on which one is the best one, but there should never be multiple authors per category. No, you can find other people. Similar, in the romance category, Brynn Weaver and Ali Hazelwood each have 2 books in the romance category. They're taking 10% of the category each. You're telling me you couldn't find more authors, more books to put in the romance category? Really? And I will say right now, I do not know all the people's ethnicities or anything just off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure only 3 of them are people of color. You have 2 Ali Hazelwood and 2 Brynn Weaver. That's 4. That's more books from 2 authors than you have for people of color. There's also people that have mentioned that some of these books being in the romance category is incorrect. So one of the books in here is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. People are saying that that is not actually a romance. It would have been better to be maybe the literary category, but it's not a romance. Somebody else was saying there is a book in, I think, the Romantasy section that they don't think is Romantasy. There's not enough romance in it. It should be in fantasy. So these Goodreads awards are done by what people use for their shelves, which now this year they updated it to tags. So you have your, like, your want to read shelf and your read shelf, and then you can tag the books for other things that you want. I do have a lot of shelves currently that are like for the genre. But people can put whatever the heck they want for that. So there are probably people that are saying The Favorites has romance in it versus is a romance. There is a difference there. But because that tag is so high for that book, it is in the romance section, even if it's not a romance. So people are getting frustrated that there's no, like, I guess, checks and balances about, like, what can be in what category, and I completely understand that. It would annoy me to no end if something like that happened. Let's go into the Romantasy section, because again, people were saying that there's stuff in there that should not actually be in there. It's more fantasy versus romance. But I will say, for again, the 20 books that are in this category, 3 of them are previous Harry Potter fan fiction or adjacent, because one of those books that has been talked about before as being a Harry Potter fan fiction isn't actually. The author used to write Harry Potter fan fiction. This book is from the author's voice, a completely new story. But I see where people are coming for that. But, like, again, 3 of them in that category. And yes, I guess they were very popular, but at the same time, a lot of people have also been protesting and boycotting them because of that. And again, it's just 3 of them out of 20. But one of them also should not have been Romantasy in the first place. So just keep that in mind. Moving down to, I guess, the next category that they have here, which is fantasy, we have another sort of interesting situation here. 2 of the books that are in the fantasy category released this Tuesday, yesterday, because the cutoff is like the end of this week or something, or like the very beginning of the week for voting. If they just released, who the heck has time to read them, to vote on them? They are very popular books and authors. They're both continuations of series. So like the first one that we have is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. It's like the third book, or the second one if you're not counting the prequel, in the Legends and Lattes series. It just released. And it's already here. Like, that's not giving it a chance. Not that I think it necessarily needs one, because it is a very popular book and series. People might even just vote on it for that, even if they're not reading it. But like, it just came out. And then the other one was The Strength of the Few by James Islington. This is the second book in like the Will of the Many series that I don't think I personally want to read, but so many people read and loved last year. That is just like, people would not have had a chance to read it. That book is supposed to be huge. Why is it here? Why isn't it like next year? Or I saw somebody mention, why isn't the Goodreads Choice Awards like near the very end of December or going into January? Like, we understand that the year ends in December. Either cut it off earlier or move the awards to later. Like, this is just like things that keep adding up to be like, what is the actual choice here? Like, what are we actually thinking? And I feel really, really bad about this, because like, I liked seeing authors, especially ones that I loved, things that like they were debut or things like that, because there is a debut novel category, which again, some of these debut novels are in other categories as well. I don't think authors should be allowed to have 2 spots in these awards. You get one and done. But I liked seeing people be like, hey, my book has been nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards, please vote. And now I don't want to vote at all. Like, I personally am just gonna pretend like this is not a thing anymore. I definitely use Storygraph a lot more, but I have so many books on my want to read shelf on Goodreads that I have still been using the website to like keep that kind of stuff in check. But like, oh my gosh, I'm getting so freaking annoyed at this. Authors that have too many books for the awards. But not only that, we've had obviously the ones that we saw where they're in one category, but multiple books in one category. Like, that should just not be a thing. And then one other one that I wanted to mention again that I'm just like so freaking annoyed at. And I know some people are gonna be like, whatever, and then other people are gonna be triggered probably, and I'm so sorry about this, but like, one of the audiobooks is Harry Potter, because they released a new audiobook. And I'm just like, first of all, I think the reason this has so many ratings and the reason it's here, it's a new audiobook. This is a book that was released in 1997, the original. Every person who has ever rated or reviewed this book on Goodreads is counted in this book audiobook thing, because they're all connected. Every single edition of a book is connected. So this is something that is new and was released new, because things have to be new to be in the Goodreads Choice Awards. This is for new books. But this is a book that's almost 20, no. Yeah, the 90s was 20 years ago. This is a book that's almost 30 years old. And yet it's here. It does not need to be here. Nobody needs to see this in their Goodreads Choice Awards. And yet, because we have a new version of an audiobook, it's here. I'm just, again, I'm so annoyed. And again, if you really want to see like some stuff that other people are saying, go on Threads. I find like Threads is the new Twitter, because nobody cares about Twitter anymore. I hate Twitter. It's not even Twitter, whatever. But they have so many people talking about the like demographics of these different categories, and how again it is very much focused on white authors versus people of color authors. We don't have as many LGBTQ. That was the other one. Romance. Every single book in the romance category is male, female, with no LGBTQ main characters. Like, not even a bi main character, apparently. I have not read all these, so I can't say that for myself, but based on what I'm seeing here, I do think that's right. You have 20 books here in the Goodreads Choice Awards for the romance category, and not a single one of them is LGBTQ. That's a choice. You have multiple Ali Hazelwood, multiple Brynn Weaver, none of them are LGBTQ. That was another reason I would use the write-in votes, is you could write those kind of things in, but like, just like think about that. This is like the worst Goodreads Choice Awards, and that's maybe saying something. They've never been amazing. You can usually predict it. If you've ever watched like Kayla Books and Lala's videos about the Goodreads Choice Awards, she will do a lot of like maybe reading all the horror or something, and she can usually sort of predict where things are going to go. She'll predict, she'll pick what her favorite is, but she'll predict it. And I double checked like the horror category for the last 10 years. Stephen King won 5 times in the last 10 years. And I think it was pretty much any time he was in the category, he won. He's in the category for horror again. It is technically, I think, part of one of his previous series, so I don't know how many ratings and reviews it has in comparison to other books, but would I be surprised if he wins the horror category? No, because it's Stephen King. And so I'm just at the point where I personally will not be voting in the Goodreads Choice Awards, but I do think this is officially pushing me out of using Goodreads more. I mentioned this at the beginning of the year, I've been reviewing a lot of book trackers this year, and I still use Goodreads and Storygraph concurrently right now the most. I've found Pagebound recently, and I sometimes forget to go back and use that. It does have a new app, which is great, but I was using Goodreads because I've been on Goodreads since 2012. I have. I have so much stuff in there that I didn't want to lose. Lots of stats, lots of books, all this kind of stuff, but I'm just getting more and more annoyed with it, and it's making me angry. So I think that was everything. Again, there are tons of people talking about this right now because it is just unacceptable. Like, I am just like, I'm so mad at it right now. I am. That I just figured we needed to just sort of sit and talk about it. I did take notes. I don't always take notes on these book talk videos because I do just sort of end up ranting and rambling a little bit, but I don't know what's going on with this right now, and I just can't do it. So let me know what you think about the Goodreads Choice Awards this year, because it was certainly a choice. And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye.